Yeah, Chris Eubank Jr. saying his house has been broken into. What do you think of that? Do you think he's just doing this for publicity? You know, trying to be interesting, trying to get some hype going, trying to get some fucking publicity. You know, pretending that someone's broken into his house. Or do you think he's really been broken into? Or do you think he's trying to get some money, you know, off his insurance company? You know, that's what Billy Joe Saunders said, didn't he? He said on Twitter. He's now committing fake insurance claims, which is fraud in the UK. So do you think he's doing it for that as well? He might be, you know, because, you know, his dad, he's a bit snidey as well. You know, like when he put parking tickets on his own car, you know, to try and fool the parking attendants into thinking that someone's already put a ticket on his car, you know, so they won't put a ticket on. So Chris Eubank Sr. snidely put a parking ticket on his car so he wouldn't get a ticket. You know, he's a bit snidey as well, isn't he, Chris Eubank Sr. So the son's probably snidey as well. And he's probably trying to get some kind of insurance payout, you know, pretending he got robbed. Because it's too suspicious. It's like, look at this. Let me play a little clip.
So I've come into my house this morning to find that some lowlifes have been in here, snuck in here like the little rats that they are, and burgled my house while I'm away. Boy, I can't believe this shit. Smashed through the back bedroom window.
Like, you see that window there? He might have broke that himself, you know, to try and make it look convincing. Because how much is it going to cost to replace a window? People pay publicists to get them publicity. So, you know, for him to just pay for a little window that he smashed to be replaced, you know, it's nothing, is it? You know, like when McGregor threw something at Khabib's boss. You know, that's nothing, is it, to Conor McGregor? He got $100 million for fighting Mayweather. So, you know, for him to replace a little window on a bus, that's nothing. But, you know, the publicity that Conor McGregor got for doing that, you know, that easily outweighed paying for a new window. You know, it's nothing. So, Eubank might have smashed that window himself for publicity or to try and get a payout from his insurance company. This is an inside job. This is an insurance fraud job. Those two little fake burglars, they're probably Eubank's little fake mates that he's got to fucking pretend to be burglars, you know, to try and make it look convincing. Why aren't they holding any of his clothes or all the things that they stole? They're not really holding anything, are they?
Now, if you had been good at your job and actually taken the time to inspect this garment that you so rudely thrown on the floor, you would have found this. And this is worth about 100 times everything that you took in this house. And you left it here.
Fake laughter.
The joke's on you, you absolute scumbags.
Yeah, that was fake laughter, wasn't it? That wasn't real laughter.
And you left it here.
That was fake laughter, you know, like Deontay Wilder at the press conference.
Boy, you better.
You know, that was fake as well, wasn't it? Deontay, that was fake laughter as well, wasn't it?
Boy, you better.
You know, Deontay Wilder putting on that fake laugh like that, that's to try and hype up the rematch with Tyson Fury. You know, because the build-up's been really fucking boring and uninteresting. So he's trying to hype up the fight. You know, Eddie Hearn, he says that the pay-per-view sales, you know, the ticket sales have been really low. You know, it's struggling to sell out. But that could just be Eddie Hearn, you know, hating on the event, you know, because he's not a part of it. You know, so he's saying, yeah, it's doing really bad at the box office and the tickets are struggling to sell and, you know, there's no hype behind it. It's not interesting. It's been terribly promoted. You know, because he's not a part of it, Eddie Hearn. So he's probably hating on Fish Eyes with a big dent in his forehead. You know, because he's got a little bit of involvement in it. And Eddie Hearn hasn't. So he's just slandering the event, you know, fucking slagging it off. But it could be true, you know, it hasn't been interesting at all. So, you know, Deontay Wilder putting on that fake laugh. You know, he's trying hard to hype it up, innit? You know, it's hype. You know, like Chris Eubank Jr. pretending he got robbed, you know, to try and show off his fancy watch. Like Umar, IFL, Umar. He's put that watch in there deliberately. It's all set up. So it might not even be a insurance fraud. It might just be publicity. That's probably what it is. Like I said before, him and his dad love publicity, don't they? They love that hype. And they're a bit snidey as well. Like, can you remember when Chris Eubank Jr. put Nick Blackwell in a coma? And then Chris Eubank Jr. was getting slandered, you know, because he went out partying that night. You know, the night when Nick Blackwell was laying on a life support machine. Chris Eubank Jr. was out partying, you know, banging women and fucking living their life sexually. You know, having a good time, laughing and ha 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 ha. You know, when he's just put somebody on a life support machine. So he was getting slagged off, Chris Eubank Jr. So then he arranged to go to a school, you know, to like be all nice and friendly with some little kids. You know, trying to give off a positive image. Because people were slagging him off for partying when Nick Blackwell was in a coma. So he's trying to like change his image, you know, and try and come across as the nice guy. It's a publicity stunt, man. It's PR and it's fucking fake. You know, he's pretending to be little fake mates with those little kids. It's publicity, isn't it? Just do it out of the goodness of your heart and to be nice to the kids. Not to get likes and retweets on social media. You know, when people act all nice and friendly for selfish reasons. You know, like Coogan. I remember when I put up a YouTube video and then Coogan messaged me saying, great vid. And I thought, what's he after? He's never ever messaged me saying great vid. So why is he messaging me now saying great vid? And then he rang me and he said, yeah, can you do me a favor? You know, in your videos, can you stop putting up photos of me with all these women? Because my girlfriend's getting jealous and he's causing a lot of arguments at home. And I thought, you know what? I knew he'd be after something. I knew there was a reason for him saying great vid. He's never ever messaged me saying great vid. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, him messaging me saying great vid, you know, it was just for selfish reasons, wasn't it? You know, it's fake niceness, isn't it? You know, people do nice deeds for selfish reasons. Like there's a video of Mayweather, you know, giving a homeless person $1,000. But he's like recording it, innit? So it's like he's doing it to get praise from people, you know, and get a pat on the back. So I don't know what his intentions are here. But it'd be good to think that his intentions are good and he wants homeless people to eat. And then the homeless man tried to hug Mayweather, but he didn't want to hug him, did he? You know, and some people was having a go at Mayweather, you know, for not hugging the homeless man. But you can't blame him, can you? Because that homeless man probably stinks. You know, and he might be infected. He might have diseases. He might have warts. So you can't blame Mayweather for not hugging the homeless man. You don't know why he's doing it, do you? You don't know if he's doing it out of the goodness of his heart or whether he's doing it to try and get a pat on the back from people. You know, when he was giving out all that food to the homeless. You know, is he doing it to get praise for himself? You know, so they say, yeah, Mayweather's a nice guy giving out all that food. Or is he doing it out of the goodness of his heart to feed people who are homeless? You know, it's hard to say, isn't it? Because, like, you know, when you make charitable donations, it comes off your tax bill as well. So this food might not even cost Mayweather anything, because it might come off his tax bill anyway. So you don't really know the real reason he's doing this, but you'd like to think it is for good-hearted reasons. You don't know though, do you? But yeah, going back to Eubank Jr, I hope he did get robbed. You know, because he's always showing off. You know, I don't even mind people having money, but you know, when they're fucking showing off all the time. You know, like Mayweather. You know, if Mayweather got robbed, if someone broke into his house, you know, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care at all. You know, because Mayweather's always showing off. You know, and it's the same with Eubank. I'd like it if they got robbed. Like, you know, call the contradiction Froch. He's got money, but he never shows off, does he? He only brags about his fancy wife and knocking out George Groves in front of 80,000 people at Wembley. But he never brags about money, does he, Carl Froch? You know, I've read Carl Froch's autobiography, and he's just bragging and boasting about knocking out George Groves in front of 80,000 people at Wembley and making him fall on his own leg. You know, and he was too big, too strong for GGG, and he only lost to Mikhail Kessler because of volcanic ash. And if he'd have fought Calzaghe and De Gale, he would have backed them both up against the ropes and smashed them to bits. You know, bragging and boasting throughout the whole book about his boxing achievements. He's just going on and on and on like Calzaghe. But he never brags about money. And I think that's because he used to be homeless. And then he started working in Tesco's. And then he became an international superstar and made it in boxing and made a load of money. So he doesn't take money for granted. That's probably why he never brags about money, like Mayweather. You know, if he got robbed of all those fancy watches, I wouldn't care at all. I wouldn't give a toss. You know, Mayweather's always showing off those fancy watches. So, you know, if somebody broke into Mayweather's house and they robbed all of those fancy watches and they come to a total of, say, $1 million, I wouldn't give a toss. You know, Mayweather, I like him, but he's always showing off, innit? You know, when people are bragging about what they've got. You know, like Coogan, when he was with Billy Joe Saunders and they were doing a bit of shopping. And Billy Joe Saunders picked up a pair of trainers and said, "They're nice, aren't they?" And Coogan said, "Oh, I can easily afford them. My YouTube channel's worth £5 million. You know, there's no need for that kind of fucking arrogance, is there? There's no need for that kind of fucking arrogance. So Coogan deserves to be robbed as well, don't he? He deserves to get fucking robbed, don't he, Coogan? You know, acting like that. So he needs to be safe. Be safe. My channel's worth £5 million. How's your Tuesday going? He's arrogant, innit? You know, sitting there like that, like he's a king. You know, with his leg up, and IFL Umar stood over him like he's a servant, waiting to receive orders. He's arrogant, innit? You know, he deserves to be robbed as well, don't he, Coogan? Like Chris Eubank Jr. They all deserve to be robbed, don't they? These fucking arrogant fuckers. Can you remember when the Eubanks fucked Coogan off? And they said that he can't interview him. You know, because they said he uses bad language. And then when Coogan's channel started to blow up, you know, they tried to crawl back to him, you know, and beg him to interview him. You know, so they can get hype and exposure. And Coogan interviewed him. He should have fucked him off, man. He should have fucked him off. You know, like how they fucked him off, saying he can't interview him because he uses bad language. He shouldn't have given him that hype, man. He should have fucked him off. He should have never let them back on the channel. That's like you trying it on with a woman, yeah? Asking a woman out and she says no. Then you win the lottery and then she starts trying to get with you and you start taking her out and spending money on her and fucking whining and dining and giving her money. You know, that's some baby thing. But that's like Coogan, man. He should never have let him back on the channel to get that hype. You know, he sold out, didn't he, for views. Pussy and views. He sold out for those views, didn't he? Yeah, he should have fucked him off, man. Remember when Chris Eubank Sr. said that his son, Eubank Jr. is going to be as good as Mayweather? You know, that's another baby thing, innit? That is another baby thing, that is. That's probably the biggest baby thing of all time. You know, that's fucking ridiculous, innit? Do you know what I mean? He's not even all that good, man. I was fucking beating him easily until I just got tired. You know, he's nothing. He's definitely not a Mayweather. You know, his dad's just trying to hype him up, innit? You know, he's got a good engine and he's got a bit of heart. But he's not a fucking Mayweather. He's not going to be as good as Mayweather, is he? You know, like I say, that's just another baby thing, innit? You know, that's fucking ridiculous, innit? Yeah, what do you think about people having a go at Mayweather, you know, for not writing a tribute to Kobe Bryant, you know, the basketball player who died? You know, people are having a go at Mayweather, you know, because he didn't post any tributes to him on Instagram. You know, Mayweather was too busy posting his strippers, you know, from his strip club on his Instagram. You know, so people was having a go at him, you know, saying, fuck your strip club, R.I.P. Kobe. Someone else commented saying, maybe just one day in your life, could you care less about your fucking money and dedicate to one legend that actually we all care about? Hashtag Kobe Bryant, hashtag the real legend. So what do you think of that? I don't know. I don't even know if them two are mates, you know, like, I'm not saying you have to be mates with somebody to pay tribute to them. I'm saying, like, I don't know, I don't like how people assume that Mayweather should pay tribute to this guy. Just because those two are in a photo together smiling, that doesn't mean anything. Remember when Coogan ran up to Justin Bieber, you know, and begged him for a photo, and they were in a photo together smiling, you know, acting like little fake mates. You know, if Justin Bieber died, it doesn't mean Coogan should write a tribute to him, does it? On Twitter or Instagram. You know, they don't know each other, do they? Coogan's just asked for that photo for sexual reasons. They're not friends, are they? So it might be the same with Mayweather and that Kobe Bryant. I don't know, like, you know, if Umar died, I'd probably put that photo up on my Instagram. Even though I've only met him a couple of times. I'd put that photo on my Instagram, you know, and write a little tribute saying R.I.P. Umar, IFL Umar. You know, it's just respect, innit? It's not hard, is it, to do that, just to pay a little quick tribute to somebody like that. So Mayweather could have done it, couldn't he? It's not hard, is it, to write a little tribute? You know, people in the fight world were paying tribute to him, you know, like Conor McGregor and Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis. You know, they were all paying tribute to Kobe Bryant. But, you know, Mayweather, he was just posting about his strip club. Yeah, she looks alright, don't she? But Mayweather might have deliberately avoided, you know, posting a tribute to Kobe Bryant. You know, because he knew it would probably stir up a bit of controversy and hype, which it did on Instagram. You know, and that's what Mayweather's about, innit? Controversy. That's why he's made so much money. Because he knows that controversy sells. Because you know that video of him giving out sandwiches on YouTube? That only got about 20,000 views. But you know the videos of him showing off his money and his fucking watches and getting locked up for beating up that woman? Those videos got millions of views. So controversy spreads faster than positivity. Controversy is more appealing than generous deeds like giving out sandwiches to the homeless. You know, and Mayweather knows that, don't he? So that's why he's fucking controversial sometimes. Like, you know, Andre Ward, he was quite a good fighter, wasn't he? You know, I was just watching him school the contradiction Froch. So he was a good fighter, wasn't he, Andre Ward? He probably wasn't as good as Mayweather, but he wasn't too far behind, was he, Andre Ward? But he probably only earned a fraction of the money Mayweather earned. You know, because he's not really controversial, Andre Ward. But Mayweather is, isn't he? You know, and he creates hype. Like, you know, when he was getting ready to fight Manny Pacquiao, he said in an interview that he's going to stomp on the little yellow midget. So he called Pacquiao a yellow midget. So he went down the racist route, didn't he, Mayweather? You know, to try and hype up the fight. You know, calling Pacquiao yellow. A yellow midget. Manny Pacquiao looks a bit like Bruce Lee, don't he? That's a brilliant fight, that is, isn't it? That is a brilliant fight. That's pay-per-view, that is, isn't it? That is pay-per-view. Who wins that in the streets? It's got to be Bruce Lee, hasn't it? Yeah, Bruce Lee's got the edge. A yellow midget. That was a bit disrespectful from Mayweather, wasn't it? A yellow midget. Mayweather. What do you think of that? That's sad, isn't it? You know, some people are saying that Kobe Bryant deserved to die, you know, because he was accused of sexual assault. You know, it's fucking stupid, isn't it? These are the same people who look up to Mike Tyson and worship him. You know, and he didn't even do it. Mike Tyson and Tupac. But they went to prison for it. This Kobe Bryant, he didn't even get convicted for it. You know, the charges got dropped. Because, you know, when that dirty little slag who accused him of rape, you know, when she got examined by a medical doctor to check for rape evidence, they found 3 men's spunk in her cunt. So she was just a dirty little slag. Yeah, she was just a little whore, like Michelle Whore Phelps. So yeah, he didn't rape her at all. It was probably Coogan. You know, it's Mike Tyson all over again, isn't he? He didn't deserve to die at all. He didn't fucking rape that woman. Some people's lives are that shit that they pray for the downfall of a successful man. You know, because he's considered a legend. You know, and the people slagging him off, happy that he died, are just fucking scum, trolls, keyboard warriors, living in their mum's spare room. You know, they're scum, so they fucking get all excited and all hyped up. You know, when somebody who's considered a legend dies. You know, they're fucking scum, aren't they? These people. He didn't deserve to die at all. He didn't fucking rape that woman. You know, it's Mike Tyson all over again, isn't it? It's Tupac all over again. You know, some fucking dirty little slags trying it on with Conor McGregor now. You know, saying that he raped her. You know, it's a load of shit, man. Kobe Bryant didn't deserve to die at all. Well, yeah, Mayweather should have wrote a little tribute to Kobe Bryant, shouldn't he? You know, it's not hard, is it? Just a little tribute. But it's hard to know what goes on in Mayweather's head. You know, they say that people who are geniuses and who are at the top of their professions, they're normally a bit mentally deranged. You know, they're normally a bit weird. You know, like McGregor punching the old man in a pub. You know, that's not a normal thing to do, is it? Punching an old man in a pub. But, you know, being like that, you know, that's why he won the UFC title a few times, and that's why he got paid over $100 million for fighting Mayweather. They think outside the box, don't they? These guys are at the top of their games. You know, their way of thinking. That's why they're at the top of their game, you know, because they're different. You know, if they were just normal and they just worked in an office wearing a shirt and tie, you know, earning £300 a week, $300, whatever. You know, those two have excelled in their careers, you know, because they think outside the box. You know, like Dr. Dre. You know, I was watching a documentary about him the other day, and like, he's a top producer, and he's made some good beats by Dre. You know, those fancy headphones that Anthony Joshua likes. He's a top producer, Dr. Dre. You know, he's just sold his Beats by Dre, you know, to Apple for about $3 billion. So he's got to be up there, hasn't he, in terms of making beats, Dr. Dre. Well, I was watching a documentary, and his wife, she says that he goes into a trance, you know, and he doesn't talk to her for about 3 days, you know, because he's in a trance. And she's trying to talk to him, but he's not, like, acknowledging her, you know, because he's in a trance. And he's so focused on beats by Dre. You know, that's why he's up there, isn't he? But because he's a top guy, beat-wise, producer-wise, you know, he's different. You know, these geniuses, you know, they're normally fucked. And she said he's a bit weird. But you've got to be, aren't you? You know, to get to that level. It's all about levels, isn't it? He got to that top level of making beats, you know, by being different and thinking outside the box. And it's the same with Joshua, you know, selling drugs. You know him selling drugs. You know, when you sell drugs, you kind of work for yourself, don't you? You're not stuck on a building site for 10 hours a day, you know, tiring yourself out. You know, you're your own boss, aren't you, when you sell drugs? So it can be beneficial. And, you know, because he got locked up and put on tag, you know, he wasn't allowed to leave the house after 8 o'clock. So he wasn't allowed to go out partying and fucking around with women and getting drunk like Lee Frotch. You know, he had to live a life of just going to bed early and getting up early. So that benefited him in boxing, didn't it? So the drug selling benefited him. And you know, Dr. Dre, He was in a band called NWA, you know, and that was funded by drugs. You know, Eazy-E was in the group. You know, he used to sell drugs, so that funded that group and enabled them to pay for studio time, you know, so they could make songs. And, you know, Ice Cube, he was in a quality film one called Boys in the Hood. That's a fucking quality film. And Friday. And he was in that group NWA as well one year. That was funded by drugs. So, drugs can be positive, can't they? You know, if you use it in the right way. And it's like Coogan, you know, getting funded by those MTK global drug pushers. That's benefited him, hasn't it? You know, he's fucking pouncing around Miami, you know, with Michelle Hall Phelps. You know, for that YouTube boxing event in Miami. You know, Coogan's living the life in Miami, you know, with Michelle Hall Phelps. So drugs can be beneficial, can't they? So I might try and get these videos funded by drugs. You know, because Echo Falls have fucked me off. And I've refused to sponsor these videos. Even though I've given them so much fucking publicity. You know, they threw me under the bus, you know, like the Black Quitter. So I might try and get these videos funded by drugs. So drugs can be beneficial, can't they? So these people who are considered geniuses, like Dr. Dre and Mayweather, they've all got faults, haven't they? And it's like they've got to have faults, you know, to be a genius. They've got to think differently and be weird and a bit dodgy, you know, like Stephen Hawkins. Like, he's considered a genius, but he was fucked. So he needs to be safe. Be safe. Yeah, she looks alright, don't she? I was watching some wheelchair boxing the other day. You know him in the blue headguard. He's got some good footwork. You know, look at that. And he's got some good upper body movement as well. You know, leaning back like that. That's quite a good move, isn't it? Yeah, he's quite talented, you know. I think Eddie Earn should sign him up. Because he's quite good. And he gets the stoppage as well. Look at that. Man down. That's quite entertaining, isn't it? Like I say, Eddie Earn should sign him up, you know. That's more interesting than Joshua running around the ring against Ruiz. You know, that was some baby thing, wasn't it? Yeah, it looks like the Andy Ruiz Dillian White fight's fallen through. What do you think happened there? Who do you think pussied out of that then? None of them pussied out, did they really? None of those two are pussies, are they? You know, even though they've been going backwards and forwards on social media, you know, calling each other a pussy. You know, Andy Ruiz got in there with Joshua and beat him the first time and then fucking went 12 rounds with him the second time. You know, Dillian White gave Joshua a good fight, didn't he? You know, with a shoulder injury. And he had 2 good fights with Derek Chisora. So none of those two are pussies, are they really? None of them pussied out. It was probably Andy Ruiz who didn't really want the fight. You know, because he's just come off 2 big paydays against Anthony Joshua. So he's probably going to have to take a lot less money, you know, to fight Dillian White in a non-world title fight. So if Andy Ruiz couldn't put down the pizzas to defend his world heavyweight titles, you know, he's not really going to get motivated, is he, to fight Dillian White in a non-title fight, probably for a lot less money. So that's probably what it's down to, you know, that fight falling through, money. None of those two pussied out, did they? None of those two are pussies. Andy Ruiz wants that AJ money, don't he? But he's probably not going to get it, man. You know, in a non-world title fight. But yeah, it's a shame if that fight doesn't happen. You know, that would have been a good fight, wouldn't it? You know, like I've said before, Dillian White wouldn't run around the ring like Joshua did against Ruiz. You know, he'd stand there and fight, wouldn't he? But that's what Joshua did in the first fight with Ruiz, you know, and he got beat. So it's all about the win, innit? Just do what you have to do to win. You know, hit and not get hit. So you can't blame Joshua really, can you? He got the win. He got his titles back, didn't he? Eddie Earn getting all hyped up again. He fucking hates Frank Warren, don't he? He fucking hates him. Well, yeah, that'll do, you know, just a little quick shit video today. Yeah, thanks for that.